What's going on, guys? It's Crazy Dog here, and in today's video, we're going to take a look at the pros and the cons of both the PS5 as well as the Xbox Series X. We're going to weigh these out, kind of assign a point system, and see which console may be right for you. All that and more right after a word from today's video sponsor. If you guys are looking for an affordable Windows 10 key, then you need to do yourselves a favor and check out VIPscdkey.com. Using the link within the description below, as well as the coupon code GG20, you will have yourselves a brand new Microsoft Windows 10 Pro OEM CD key for as little as $15.82. What are you waiting for? Use that link within the video description, and thank you, VIP SCD Key, for sponsoring today's video. So these comparisons are going to be broken down into categories, and in each category, we're going to be awarding a point to see, of course, which brand or which device does that category better. And the very first category that we're going to take a look at today would be the exterior design. Now, I know that this isn't important to some, but it is important to others because at the end of the day, sometimes you want this to actually kind of meld into your existing ecosystem if it's going to be on camera, if you're a streamer, or if you have some sort of aesthetic that you're looking to capture. So the very first one that we're going to take a look at today would be the Xbox Series X. Now, in all honesty, the Xbox Series X really is not anything to write home about. In fact, its linear boxy design really just looks like a mid-2000s printer from HP. It is just flat black, so it should mitigate a lot of the fingerprints that you would traditionally see on a glossier or shinier console, but overall, it's pretty bland. It can go vertical or horizontal. There are no other stands or anything needed to accomplish this, so being able to fit it within your room shouldn't be a problem, and cooling doesn't really take a hit either way that you do it. Now, the one benefit to its boxy design and its 90-degree corners is it is very economical and very cost-effective to customize this. I wouldn't recommend taking it apart and doing any sort of hydro dipping or anything like that because you do have to remove a lot of the warranty-oriented stickers that would void any sort of insurance or coverage that you have going forward. But these are very easy to wrap. There are tons of wrap companies like Slick Wraps, like dbrand, and many, many more on the market. So I think customization almost saves it, but overall as just a bare bones console, it's for the most part pretty ugly. Now, the PlayStation 5 in this case really truly looks like a next generation console. It has nice exterior lines, it has an overall nice design, and I really like the approach that they took. Similar to the Xbox Series 1, this can be oriented either in a vertical or horizontal orientation, and it does come with the included stand. You will need that stand if you're looking to place this in a horizontal fashion, just because of the way that it is designed and the bezels that it has on the top and bottom or left and right, depending on the orientation. It does need a stabilization mechanism or a stand to make that work just that much better for you. Now, the only major drawback to this design is because the side panels are fairly thick, it does make customizing it with vinyls doable, but not the greatest. And that's simply because when you wrap these devices in vinyl, you tend to see a big, thick line around the whole exterior of the side plate. To kind of help mitigate that though, these side plates just very easily snap off of the console. You can paint them, you can hydro dip them, or you can just buy different ones entirely from places like Amazon, Etsy, again, dbrand again. And overall, I think not only does it look better, it does have the better overall design and kind of future customization options just because you can fully remove the side panels, change them out, or customize them and paint them yourself, all while keeping your warranty intact. Because of all of this, the PS5 definitely wins the aesthetic award. Now, since these are both TV-oriented gaming consoles, we need to address the included peripherals that come with each console. Now, with the Xbox Series X, you do have the newer, I should say, Xbox wireless controller. Now, this is the traditional design, and in fact, the one benefit in going with the Series X, if you're a long-term Xbox user or purchaser or owner, is you can actually use the older controllers with this console. Now, the downfall to that is this also means that they really didn't add any innovations to the new console's controller. With the new Xbox wireless controller, we do see a couple of extra share or functionality buttons, but they really didn't change how the controller looks, feels, or operates. And although there are benefits with AA batteries, I really don't like that the stock controllers don't come with rechargeables, they don't come with the Play and Charge kit, and at $75 Canadian, by the time you add a $30 Play and Charge kit, you're now actually exceeding the value of a PlayStation 5 DualSense controller that we're about to talk about that I truly feel has a lot more innovation. Now this of course brings us into the DualSense controller from Sony, and similar to the console and the overall aesthetics, this truly looks and feels next gen. They've changed the fitment in hand. I find these much more comfortable than the old DualShock 4 controllers or anything that Sony had in the past, but it's the functionalities that this controller brings to light that truly makes it next generation. You have the enhanced feedback with the reworked rumble motors on the inside, and this actually introduces for the first time haptic feedback. And this is a fantastic way to feel like you're walking in different environments, you're doing different things, you're getting hit from different items within game. And Astro's Playroom, which is the free demo that you get with the PS5 console, really highlights, and of course it's more of a tech demo than it is a demo itself for the gameplay, but it really highlights both the haptic feedback as well as the new pressure sensitive triggers that are on the back of the controller. These actually allow you to have force feedback, so if you're playing racing games, if you're playing shooting games, each thing that you do in game will be completely dynamic as far as the resistance is concerned, and this is absolutely crazy, and the future implementations of this are just going to be fantastic, and I hope that there's more developers outside of first party that utilize this technology, because this is absolutely astonishing. Now these controllers are also rechargeable as well, and again, this is the direction that I think things should be going in 2021 with rechargeable technology. The downfall is it may not last that long. We're looking at probably 8 to 10 hours of battery life, but it's very easy to charge these with the included USB-C cable that you get with the console, or with one of the either first party or third party controller charging docks that you can very easily get for a very economical price. At about $89, I believe they are, $85 Canadian, you're truly getting a steal with this controller. Now, before we go ahead and award the pretty obvious points to Sony for their controller and their included peripherals, I do want to make a special mention to Microsoft as well, because this category is only the included peripherals, and when you take a look at the peripheral catalog as a whole that Microsoft has to offer, whether it be the accessibility controllers, the elite controllers, all of the optional accessories that you have, they really offer, in my opinion, a larger category and a larger library than Sony does. But for those that are looking for a console itself and what comes included, I think Sony very easily takes the cake in this category. Now, consoles aren't anything without the games that we can play on them. So, of course, the next category here between the Series X and the PS5 will be the games. Now, we're not going to touch base on subscription-based services like PlayStation Now and Game Pass. That will come in another category later on. And we're also not going to address games like Call of Duty and sports games that are cross-platform, because with cross-play and the advantages that we have in the modern console or gaming space as a whole, if you're playing games that are across both platforms, buy whatever console your friends typically have or you might have owned in the past as far as a previously owned library. But In this specific category, we're going to be talking about what games are first-party or console-specific exclusives. Now, I've had the privilege of owning both of these consoles for a couple of months, and I have to say that, in my opinion, they pretty evenly divide in the type of games that you're looking to play. I had my PS5 on launch, and one thing that Sony is very, very well known for would be single-player narrative-driven games. So a very story-driven experience. We've seen this in the Last of Us franchise. We've seen this in Uncharted. We've seen this in Ghost of Tsushima. We've seen this in Ratchet and Clank, God of War. Like, the list goes on and on and on. For PS5 specific games, there's not a ton. We have Returnal that was actually really good. We have the recently released Ratchet and Clank, which in my opinion was very good as well, although fairly short-lived. You can get the platinum in a couple of days, and I probably won't go back to that game anytime soon. But for me, personally, I'm a father of two, I work full-time. I like having a game that I can play as a narrative escape and something that I can typically pause if I need to do other things. And Sony, for the most part, has been that console for me. When we look at their first-party exclusives as well from back in the PS4 era, a lot of those have been optimized for the PS5, and they've done so very, very well. Now, on the flip side, we have Microsoft with their Xbox Series X, and what I've noticed in my last couple of months of owning this console would be that Microsoft or Xbox games are more so tuned to the family or friends experience. And what I mean by that is a lot of their heavy-hitting first-party titles that, for the most part, other than on PC, you can only get on Xbox, or maybe I should say on a Microsoft-based experience. A lot of these games have fantastic depth when it comes to couch co-op, online competitive. We see this in the Halo franchise, in the Gears of War franchise, in the Forza Racing series, and so much more from there. For me, that's not my type of experience. Again, I like a narrative-driven experience that I can just sink my whole entire being into and kind of escape reality while I play. I used to be very, very big into multiplayer games, not so much anymore. Again, when we talk about the first-party exclusives specifically for the Series X, there's also not very many on the market right now, but during E3, they had a fantastic showcase, and it looks like this year for the rest of 2021 could be the year of Xbox. I would have to say, personally, I'm a little bit biased. I'm gonna have to give the points again to Sony for the PS5 because I love that narrative escape so much more than I do grinding out the same game over and over and over again, whether it's online multiplayer, co-op, competitive, whatever the case may be. But if that's something that you're interested in, I do find that Microsoft really, really has that market cornered. And when it comes to the last gen games that are Series S or Series X enhanced or compatible, you're going to find that more of those games have full support for things like 4K 120 Hertz or 120 FPS because of the integration with Microsoft games being not only on Xbox but also on PC. We've seen the coding and we've seen the back-end work for that high refresh rate. So if you really want the biggest console couch-based library for high refresh rate gaming, the Xbox is going to be your guy, hands down, because there's very few titles that actually achieve that as of right now on the PlayStation, where the Xbox has like, I think 30, 40, maybe even 50 titles. I'll put some annotations somewhere on screen that give you that full-fledged experience. And some of them are big games. So that's a big win for Microsoft, but I'm personally still going to give the points to Sony on this one. So now I want to address brand-specific services, and this is primarily where we're going to talk about things like Microsoft's Game Pass compared to the PlayStation Now service. And I forget the name of it because I honestly don't even use it. This is very, very simple. We're going to start with Xbox first because Xbox is going to be the hands down winner in this category. Game Pass really has it all. A lot of people will argue and say that Game Pass is filled with a whole ton of indie games that nobody will ever play. And I can't disagree for the most part. There is a lot of filler on that service that I really don't personally care about. They're fun little jaunts like Rain on Your Parade or Gang Beasts that you can play for 30 minutes to an hour and kind of be done with it. But their catalog is growing almost every week. You can see a huge upcoming list of games at any given time, all the time, and it's always updating. But as of late, their day one launches have been crazy. We all know about the infamous MLB The Show 21 being a day one free game that you can play with Game Pass, where it was the very first year that left the Sony platform that used to be a PlayStation seller for MLB games, and PlayStation really didn't do any reactive marketing to that. It was still, a $70, $80 game on that platform. Even more if you wanted the Jackie Robinson edition that actually gave you the PS5 version, where Microsoft just went ahead, gave you the optimized for Series S, Series X, completely included day one in Game Pass. We also had Outriders, and coming up in the future, we do have the Bethesda games. We have Back 4 Blood, which I've been looking forward to, Medium, which was a Series X game. Like, it's just unreal the things that you get. I'm going to take a look at some of my notes here. I had hand scratched over 300 titles, but there's only about an active 100 titles. Some come, some go. But when we compare that alongside of what you also get with EA Play, which provides you access to really all of their sports games, you've got a ton of those that are also Xbox Series S and Series X compatible. So you have your NHLs, your MLBs, your NBAs, your Maddens. Those are huge franchises. And for people that religiously play sports games, that's hundreds of dollars in content that you literally get for a very nominal small fee per month. You also get things like your Star Wars games, you get The Sims, you get your Battlefields, like so much content between Game Pass as well as the Games for Gold, as well as EA Access. Like, it's absolutely crazy. On the flip side, with PlayStation, you do have like the PlayStation Plus games. They try their best to give you like one PS5 game and like 2 PS4 games. Historically, you only really get something decent about once a quarter. And with the PlayStation Now titles, there are a lot of first-party games that are on there. The Last of Us, God of War. It's not a bad service. The downfall is the categories that they offer, a lot of them have to be streamed, and only some of them can actually be downloaded onto your console in full quality. With Game Pass, they can all be downloaded, they can all be used at their full quality, and now you can also stream those externally as well on other devices, which is absolutely crazy. The other thing that is just, in my opinion, could almost win the console war, if you're somebody that, let's say, plays your Call of Duties and your sports games, and you're really not like a brand loyalist as far as the type of content that you consume, is the Xbox All Access program. Now, All Access actually provides you the opportunity for 0% financing over 24 months for a Series X or a Series S. It does include the Game Pass Ultimate, which we just talked about, as well as the Xbox Live and everything that you need, all for one fee. And not only is it for one monthly fee at 0% financing, it's also cheaper than buying the console and buying all of that stuff externally. And that is just absolutely crazy. That's actually how I got mine. I didn't even necessarily want a Series X, but it was just so easy to get. And the stock was readily available is the other thing too. If you're looking at something that you can buy today, I know PS5s are coming in stock, but depending on where you live, they're still hard to find. EA All Access, I find they're readily available. I literally got mine in 3 days in New Brunswick, Canada, which was crazy. Not only that, I've been walking into stores on a regular basis and seeing Series S and Series X just actively being sold. They have the Microsoft Store, which is their first party sort of online platform for sales. Like, if you need something today, I would say, you know, Xbox is very, very attainable. And if you don't need a PlayStation experience as far as the next gen look and feel of both the console as well as the controller, and you're just wanting to play games, I mean, the Xbox is a fantastic option, and it's something that I find myself playing more than my PlayStation. And the only main reason is I've burned through the PS5 oriented content, and everything that is kind of upscaled or enhanced for the PS5, I've already played and beat on my PS4 Pro. The Xbox having the ability to go into Game Pass, regardless if they're throwaway games or actually big titles like your Halos, your Forza, your Gears, I consistently have things to play, which is pretty crazy. And I didn't own an Xbox for years and years and years, so I could have played those in the past had I have kept up with their launch schedule. But I like the ability to install something regardless of what it is, play it for a little bit, and then just uninstall it and make some room. So for this category, hands down, very easily, I'll have to give it to Microsoft with everything they have to offer that's specific to their brand. So at the end of the day, here are my closing thoughts. Based on this arbitrary point system that I put in place for this video, it looks like the PlayStation 5 is the clear winner. If you don't have a console and you have access to get a PlayStation 5, and again, you want the narrative-driven single-player experiences that their library has to offer, hands down, you're going to get a fantastic experience. That, coupled with the haptic feedback and the pressure-sensitive adaptive triggers on the DualSense controller, also coupled with 3D audio that you're going to get on the applicable headsets that you can buy for the PS5 as well, a lot of which have actually been kind of upconverted or re-enhanced from the PS4 era, so you don't even have to rebuy those. I think the PS5, if we're not looking at the console shortage, which is rumored to go into 2022, if we're not looking at that being an issue, I think the PS5 really has a lot of great things going for it. On the flip side, if you really like playing with friends, you like a co-op experience, you like a competitive experience, you like an online experience, really the first party titles that Microsoft has to offer are absolutely crazy. They're full of fun, fast-paced co-op games or competitive games. A lot of their games, again, over 40 games, are already enhanced for 120 hertz or 120 FPS if you have a compatible TV. And with Game Pass, you also have access to all of those Microsoft games, or for the most part, most of those games on your PC as well. You can stream those externally. The full package, when we talk about everything they have to offer, especially in the way that I went through getting the console with the All Access program, which it's available in multiple countries, by the way, really, it's going to give you such a long-lasting experience. They have a great back catalog. They have great future implementations. They are going out and buying everybody with the ability to I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. But they're going out and they're achieving so much success with their purchases that I think they really see a strong future. And in the lacking nature of Sony with not being available for E3 showcases, just straight up not doing it, they've been very tight-lipped about what the end of the year and going into 2022 will bring. We know that there's Ragnarok. We know that there's going to be the Horizon. There's going to be a lot of great first-party games, but they haven't given us enough to be excited about, and they haven't given us enough of what I think feels like a next-gen experience compared to Microsoft. So I think if availability and everything is not a problem, I think PlayStation's going to be the clear winner. undecidedly, depending on what their future brings, I think they are still going to do a great job. But if you want a very well-rounded experience, you want something that's going to give you that lasting appeal, you want something that allows you to play high refresh rate and different things like that, then the Xbox is also a fantastic option. But I'd love to hear what you guys think as well. Do you have one console or the other? Do you have both? What are your opinions? What are the opinions that you have about the future longevity of these consoles as well? I'm really eager to hear your thoughts, or really what makes you excited about getting one or the other if you don't have either yet. If you liked this video, definitely go ahead and give it a like. Leave a comment down below, like I said, with all the feedback that you want to give about the production that we have today and kind of your closing thoughts along with mine. And until the next video, you guys have been awesome. My name is Quasi Dog. Not my typical outro, but I'm sick and my mind's a little loopy, so I'm gonna get some sleep. Until the next one, take care.